Did you get it?
Yeah, I did.
Was it the wrong word?
Nope, it was right on, and it describes you to a T.
Let's hear it.
A crusty, ill-tempered, and usually old man. Curmudgeon. Maybe I said it wrong.
You're sort of not allowed to do that, but it's happened. That was a mistake, because it didn't look so good. I even agree. But that was a bad fall. You can't fall. You just can't fall, no matter what. Just can't allow it to happen.
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I think that's the goal. You gonna take the mark. I take never roles. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
All right. Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host and my dear friend, the PE coach himself, Zach Grady. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Can't wait.
Of course. And of course, and sometimes, not sometimes lovely, always lovely, but sometimes present.
Oh, yes.
Wife Lindy. Welcome to the show, honey.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I can't even do my voice that high. All right, what is up? Before we get started, a couple housekeeping items for Ian. Got a wink back there. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Share the show. We certainly appreciate it. Smash. He hates it when I don't say smash. I feel like a douche when I say smash.
Sound like a douche.
But smash that like and subscribe, or smash that subscribe button. Share the show. We certainly appreciate it. We're trying our ass off to save America
and the world.
And the world. And, well, yeah, saving America may actually save the world. We're also trying to build communities, build wealth, build strength, mental, physical strength, and share some really good shit that will help you individually as well as collectively. So,
join the tribe.
Please share the show. Also, we've got merchandise coming out. We've got a lot of requests for merchandise. We are waiting patiently for more inventory to come in so we can launch with new shit. But due to popular demand, maybe we'll just launch it out there and get some more merch out for sale. In the meantime, Zach.
Hold on. Ian has the Sauce Gang for his tribe. What is ours?
I think we're the Purpose People.
Purpose People? That sounds
The purpose,
super dumb.
the purpose people eaters.
I think we're the
Purpose People Eaters.
Yeah, the Purple Purpose People Eaters. The purple. We're the Purple Penises.
PYP Gang?
I didn't mean purple penises. We're the Purple
You said it.
Purpose Penises. I don't know. Let's think of something. Anybody got anything? Matter of fact, for all the listeners, please smash that subscribe button and leave in the comments or send us a direct message on what you think our tribe should be called. That would be great. Thank you.
We'll take
Much appreciated.
The Sauce Gang. Let me ask you a question, Ian. Do you consider yourself, or is your name like the head sauce? Because when
You're the sauce
I
master?
refer to you as Sauce.
Do you? A lot of
Are you drinking one of these?
Yes.
that's tough. A lot of people, they just say either like HSB or they just say hot sauce and just leave out the beats. So a lot of people say that.
I like to call you Sauce.
Just
Am I
sauce.
saucy?
Just sauce.
Very
Yep. In
saucy.
honor of Pride Week,
Stop it.
I call
fucking knew
you
you were going that
Sauce.
way. Yeah.
We could be the Perp Gang.
Perp gang.
No,
Then we're
stop.
perpetrators.
Oh,
I don't like that.
Oh,
Perpetrators.
What was the
mount
perp
up.
wearing?
yeah, the perpetrators, the purple
Purpose
people eaters,
perpetrators?
purple people eaters.
Perfect.
It's a full cycle.
Listen,
All right.
I don't really know what we're gonna call ourselves, but for now, we just call them our people. That's how I've been describing people for the last several years. When they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm," and they try to describe what they're, I'm like, "Yeah, you're my people." Like, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
You're my people.
Let
And then
my
other people are like,
go.
"Yeah, you're my people." And I'm like, "Right, we're each other's people. You're my people."
I
So
like it.
our people, we're the Purpose People, man.
Stop it.
The hashtag Purpose People. Let's do it. Anyway, you interrupted. What are you guys drinking? How weird is this? This sucks.
Are you jealous?
I'm a little jealous, not of him, but I'm jealous of you. I don't know.
Oh.
It's perfectly okay with that Zach is drinking in front of me and I'm not drinking.
Episode 42, first time Matt is not having a whiskey on the show.
Yeah. So I'm doing the 75 Hard program, which I vowed to not put out there, but this is the one and only
There's
show.
one rule if you're in the 75 Hard program.
Rule number one.
Rule number one is you talk about being
Always
on
talk.
75 Hard.
First rule of 75 Hard, always talk about it. No, I actually prefer to not, I prefer to not tell people. It usually comes up in conversation because in today's world,
If
especially.
you're not drinking.
Right. In my world, if we're somewhere and I don't have a whiskey in my hand, it is certain to prompt question or conversation. And in some cases, concern. People are concerned.
You are an
with me.
alcoholic. So.
Yeah, so
Just kidding.
I
That's not
do.
true.
I know that the program is zero tolerance, and I'm in the distilled spirits business. So as you can imagine, being on 75 Hard, not drinking,
Your own whiskey.
and trying to develop different, mash bills and flavor profiles, and when I drink, sometimes I'm legitimately doing research and development.
It's for work, of course.
Right. It's not just some shit I'm lying to my wife. No, honey, I had to drink.
I swear to God, dear.
Yeah, I mean, I go to the distillery and I'm
testing whiskeys.
Yeah, I go to the distillery and I'm in order to know if it's good coming off the still. I mean, how do you do it? You put it in your mouth and you taste it. And I carved out a little exclusion for myself. I granted myself the authority to give myself an exception to where if it is legitimately research and development, then I can do it. And what that means is I can't go to the bar, which of course, when I go out, my friends are like, dude, it's R&D. You can do that. I'm like, no, this is not R&D because
It's a very gray area.
yeah,
there.
no, I know what Maker's Mark tastes like. Believe me, it's not R&D. But if I'm testing a flavor profile, or we're mixing up a blend, or we're trying our product, if it's just that time, I'm not gonna go 4 months without tasting
You
the product. It just
could
can't
make the argument that drinking right now is work related.
happen. Yeah, I did. So on my program, I've granted myself that authority to have a drink a week and to have 2 and 3 drinks a week at the end of the program because of shit like this. I understand 75 Hard. The way he built the program is to create a monster. Number one, it's a mental toughness program as well as a physical toughness program, and it's a zero tolerance. It isn't for alcoholics. It isn't. It's for discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't built around, although it could be used, built around to solve an over drinking problem. That's not the intent of it. It's to display the discipline over longer periods of time until it becomes a habit.
Take away something you want.
Correct.
/ like.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice.
A sacrifice.
Right. And I don't need that. So that's why, full circle, that's why I choose to not tell people when I'm on the program, because I've done it, been there, done that, and I don't need that aspect of it, and it just makes my life more difficult, and it slows things down. But this time I think I decided I wanted to do it because I wanted the mental challenge. I wanted to see, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do it in the show? Am I going to be able to display the discipline? Am I going to set the example for others that even I can do this? And if I could do it, you can do it.
And I think I'm speaking for myself. You can obviously speak for yourself. The drinking part is probably the least mentally straining aspect of.
What say you?
That was the hardest part for me.
Was it?
The
So that was the
absolute-
easiest for me.
Yeah.
I could
It
do
was the
everything.
2 workouts a day.
Nope.
One being outside is the hardest.
It
was the
sucked.
hardest
I mean,
for
it
me.
sucked for me, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to go do it," but I just forced myself.
And then
to.
at the end of the day, when you've drinking
Yeah.
a half a gallon of water, and you're like, "Oh fuck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta chug a half gallon
That's
real
the
quick."
worst.
And then you're pissing all night.
Yeah.
The
all
reading.
5 things.
Reading for you?
Reading is the hardest thing. Only because, if I could bang out audio, shit, I'll just do that on the workout.
Mm-hmm.
That's no problem. My problem is sitting down physically with a book, putting my eyeballs on words. I'm a slow reader. It's very hard for me to comprehend when I don't have audio. That was the hardest part for me just because I dreaded it the most.
Also, shutting off your brain to just
I can't do it.
concentrate on reading.
Very hard to
Yep.
focus on.
Correct. When I've got 7,500 other things going on and I have to try and shut down and comprehend the book, that leads me to reading the same page 10 times. Instead, it's a check the block. Like I tell my kids, like if you read it and you didn't retain it, you wasted your time.
Right.
Read 5 pages instead of 10 if you retain the 5 pages. Read the page twice. Do whatever you have to do. That's the point. I'm not reading just for the sake of saying I sat down and read words on 10 pages. So that was the hardest for me.
And that's also why it's not supposed to be like a fiction book.
Correct.
It's a self-help, self-development.
Yeah,
type program.
nonfiction. The books that I chose to read, I'm looking for the information.
Right.
Like this time I chose that I'm going to read the Bible through the whole program.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to do audio on the others, and I don't care how long it takes me. And the Bible's hard to read. I don't know if you ever read the Bible, but
Sometimes you got to Google words. What
Yeah.
they mean now.
yeah. So I'm taking my time with it. I plan on taking my time with it. I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm going to read through at whatever pace it takes me to get through. It just is what it is, and it's a challenge, man. I'm up for doing it. We're also heading out of town on vacation,
I
so
was gonna say here you see a very
dumbass mother.
no, a very strong-willed, strong mentally. I'm not there. We have a few vacations coming up, and nope.
Well, when we first started, when Lindy first came on the program, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, I told you after the McKenna golf tournament,
Oh yeah,
but I also have a 20-year reunion that day, and I just plan on being blitz the entire time.
smashed.
I'm not willing to give that up.
Yeah, listen, do you, bro? Do you, boo? And for me,
And I did complete 75 hard, like all 75 days with no alcohol, so I know I can do it. And I told him, I'll do most of the things with you. I'll go on 2 workouts a day. I'll read with you. I'll read the Bible with you. I'll drink but don't take my alcohol away on
and
vacation.
you're not talking about you're talking about a beer after work. Like Lindy doesn't want to sacrifice a glass of wine after work. It's not like she's wanting
Blitz
to
drunk
yeah,
every day.
on Saturday she wants to go by the pool and have a couple strawberries or whatever the hell she's having, like a couple high noons. We're not talking about going
this
out.
is a children's vacation that we're going on. I just want to have a couple.
She's got to drink on those.
She wants to have a cocktail, but yeah.
I don't plan on going to get blitzed or anything, but I want a fucking margarita.
Yeah,
okay?
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
No. Last time Lindy started the program, what were you going to say?
Well, I think that's also where you were going with the program that you're making, is because there is nothing wrong with having a drink a day or whatever, or just like you said, you're doing everything else with Matt, but you want a drink to wind down, or just, you're on vacation, it just goes with it, there's nothing wrong
Dude,
with that.
if I could convince my wife to mentally take the jump for the hurdle, to get over the hurdle of taking the alcohol out of the drink, it would solve the problem. If I can convince my wife that in this can, if I could take a clear can that just tastes a little bit like alcohol, like with some bitters in it, something that just has the alcohol-y taste with the high noon can, that's all she would need. If
they
I can
sell those
convince her that a
And here, I
virgin
think they do.
a virgin margarita by the pool would do it just fine. Look, she can't. It tastes better. She's saying, I love the taste of alcohol.
Here's my take on that, though, also.
Let's hear it.
Because if you listen to Frisella talk about 75 hard, there's zero compromise, right? If you don't do it
None
that way, you
compromise.
have not completed the program.
And
which
he will call you names.
he will call you a bitch,
That's right.
weak, and all the above.
Yep.
However, if you're doing half of those things for 75 days in a row, you're still going to be better off than you are
For
now.
sure.
Correct.
But I understand the premise. He's lying down like it's
Like he's
supposed to be hard.
You're
Like
Right.
it's
You're a
supposed to
monster.
suck. But if you're doing all those things except having a drink on vacation, more power to you, dude.
Dude,
You're
you're fine.
still better than most.
Right. And that's basically what I said. That's why I don't tell people when I wouldn't tell someone when I'm on the program, because I'm not getting on the 75 hard forum and posting my progress pictures and like
Day one.
Dude, I'm not fucking doing this for anybody but me. The only people other than me that I'm doing it for are the people that I want to inspire to do something. It doesn't have to be 75 hard, and they'll see that by the transformation that I go through when I'm on the program. And my spirit, my energy levels will go up. My commitment to others will go up.
And I also want to say,
they'll feel those effects.
I also want to say, if you are on the program and you want it to, a lot of people say it out loud for the accountability aspect.
Yeah,
you don't.
Sure.
You don't necessarily need the accountability. You can hold yourself accountable. Some people need that. Like, I need people to know what I'm doing, so if I'm fucking up, they can call me on my bullshit.
Good news, you got me, bro, because I love calling you names. I do it at the start of every show that I can remember.
Well, now that I know you're on the program,
I put it out there, dude.
They coming.
I had a call from my coaching group yesterday, and I hesitated because I know I'm going on this trip, and I know I'm going to face
several trips coming up. So.
Oh, dude, there's always several.
We
trips.
talked about that earlier. There's never a good time for
never a good
time.
time.
Nope. Never ever.
Never a good time, and I hesitated putting it out to
maybe like January, February, March.
Yeah, then you have to deal with fucking
no holidays,
30 below in Nebraska.
Yeah, that's out.
Yeah, that's a really great time when you're fucking. Remember that? I was out there.
When you live in Arizona, that'd be a great time.
My eyelashes froze. I had frozen eyelashes from tears.
You guys are wearing your matching Stay Puft Marshmallow Man suits.
Dude, those things. If you're on 75 hard and you live in the north of the Midwest, somewhere where you get those, unreasonable temperatures, below zeros, I would encourage you to invest in one of those Army extreme cold weather suits. They're rated for like 40 below or something. You can put them on and go out. I mean, you still have to worry about your face and your hands, but if you can go out in those, you can go out in that suit and you're pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Like your body is.
You look ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it's hard to move when you've got a marshmallow.
You don't really
suit
care about your looks, and
nope.
It's even better though if you can do it with your spouse and you both have matching suits, because then it's cute.
The objective
then
isn't
try to hug.
The objective isn't to. The objective isn't to, see how long you can withstand frostbite. The objective is to stay committed, no matter fucking what, and overcome the obstacles. That's the objective.
I think for you, Matt, like I'm kind of not necessarily going to enjoy your pain because it's going to suck, not being able to drink on vacation. But as far as you for staying with the fitness and all that, I'm glad you are choosing to go back on 75 hard, because I think just you as a person, you're either all or nothing. And the fact that you're choosing to do 75 hard and it's that tough, it means you're going to stay committed.
You've
the whole
been
time.
nothing for a few months now,
Fuck
dude.
you,
Fucking
all
start
of
working
you.
out again.
I could read right through. That was a silence
no, that was
round.
not a.
You fired a
that
fucking
was
shot
there was
at
no
me.
backhanded
You called me
compliment.
fat.
Backhanded
No.
Go
compliment.
fuck it. All right, I'm just kidding. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm better on a
the
program.
tougher the program is, it's going to make you want to accomplish it.
Dude, the fucking tougher it is, the
better isn't on the other side.
better it is on the other side, man.
Right,
There it
right,
is
right.
again. There it
Of
is
course.
again.
It's going to... Listen, for those of you, this is my wife's biggest problem. My wife's biggest problem is she folds. She caves to fucking peer pressure.
Mhm.
She doesn't know how to say no.
She's a go with the flow kind of gal.
Yes, and she truly, truly feels that if she isn't drinking, that she is letting someone else down. Truly. To the point when I'm on the program, she feels like she's concerned that I'm letting other people down, so I get pressure from her on behalf of others.
They want you to be drinking.
Yes,
Matthew.
and I'm like, honey, after about 4 drinks, no one gives one single solitary shit what I have in my cup. After about 5 to 6 drinks, they tend to forget, and after about 7 to 10 drinks, I have not forgotten, and deuces, because the words start to slur. The conversations start to go nowhere. There starts to end up being no value. The only value you will have is some pictures.
And also for you personally, you specifically, I think drinking kind of loosens people up a little bit.
Opposite.
You're already loose. Like, you don't have to be drunk to have a good time and
No, opposite.
be in the conversation. And,
Right. That's what Lindy
like
says.
some people need a couple drinks to kind of loosen up and go with, that
Yeah,
type of thing.
I get worse. No, there's a tipping point. Like, I get drunk. Like, when I get drunk, I loosen up. But then I'm drunk. Then I have to deal with a
It'll
hangover.
loosen up a little too much, probably.
Right. In which case,
So funny.
no, when I'm drinking, I'm more anxious. I'm more nervous. So Lindy will be like, I'm worried that you're not having fun. And I'm going, you don't understand. I am better in this situation. I'm more fun. I'm less anxious. I'm
Right.
less awkward socially. I'm less reclused and more open. And I don't need it. My biggest thing is man, I just want a whiskey.
Yep.
I walk by my whiskey cabinet and my mouth water. Yeah,
Come back to us.
yeah, come back. But like always, and like we've discussed several times, I'm on the other end. It's better on the other side, so it makes the whiskey better. And let's be serious. I still got my little carve out to where if I'm doing R&D, I get to taste on a whiskey. You know, little taster, soothe the mouth. And if I have to, if I'm tasting something off the still, I take a swig, like many distillers, because I mean, if you're in the business of tasting whiskey, a lot of distillers don't drink because they'd be wasted. Sure. So you just swish it in your mouth, spit it out, and if Priscilla or anybody else wants to call me a pussy for doing that, kiss my ass. You can all kiss my ass.
Is it because you tan better than me? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
When I
Rub it in, why don't
when
you?
I wear my assless chaps, fun fact, all chaps are assless. I just found this out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Assless chaps are
Why
just-
do people
I don't know.
distinguish that then?
I don't know.
They just want to state the obvious.
Yeah. Oh, it was when I was actually.
So it should be a surprise if people are wearing ass-filled chaps.
I think those are just leather pants.
Those are called pants.
Those are pants. Yeah. If you have ass full chaps, you're just wearing pants. But it was when I was riding your motorcycle. I was getting my license. I think the lady or one of the people at I think that it was that day. Because I was talking about chaps and how
At the DMV.
they would have been, at the DMV. That would have been nice to assless chaps. And someone told me all chaps are assless.
Oh,
And then you think about it, you're like,
Wait a second.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they are.
You learn something new every day. Anyway, so what is it that we are talking about today? It wasn't that other stuff.
Kind of. I thought you wanted to talk about patience.
What did I want to talk about?
Just a
I wanted to talk about the
little
process. That's right.
patience.
All right. All right, so let's get into it.
Can we cue some Guns N' Roses for that part?
Before we do that, though, I'd like to take a quick break.
You want to go to the bathroom?
Nope. I want to talk about the process, and I want to go from start to finish, and I think we have the perfect video to share that shows what it looks like in early stages of training, and then all the way through to the end. So, Ian, can you roll that video that
Tell
you
yourself.
made of Zach and his training? Here it is.
Oh, my God.
It was also,
this what
I
we're
believe it's
doing?
also the intro too. But Ian, roll that video.
Well, I figured you can probably put this at the beginning of the video.
I was already planning on it.
This is what we're doing today, guys.
No, we're just going to watch this video. We want our audience to see. So this is Zach during his training regimen, and he's come a long way.
I'm not allowed to do that.
Here, let
but
me
it's
restart
happened.
it. Let me restart it.
Through
You can't fall. You're sort of not allowed to do that, but it's happened. That was a mistake because it didn't look so good. I even agree. But that was a bad fall.
You,
You almost had it, didn't
it's the
you?
exact. It's the exact same fall as the president.
And this part's my favorite
You
right here.
can't fall. You just can't fall.
You just
no matter
can't
what.
fall.
Just can't
You can't
allow
allow
to
it.
happen.
Follow us on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube.
Oh, and
You
Lindy
can't
hits
fall. You
a
should have not-
teaser at the end.
So
What is that
dumb.
face? Do it again. Why you did that?
So dumb.
Why didn't he cut that part
I
out?
don't know, Ian.
Why would I? It's cute.
That part where you go, "Nah,
Are you talking about the? I love that. It's
I
cute.
think it's cute too. I think everything she does
Hey,
is cute.
that
though.
just goes to show.
Except for when she-
If you fall, get back up and ride that bike again. 12 miles in a triathlon.
So I think it's a good lead in to this is where Zach started his training. And in just a few short days, he
Hey,
finished
we're
a
riding 12 miles.
triathlon. He's riding.
Literally,
He's riding.
that was that the day before the triathlon?
Maybe a couple days, yeah, something like
All
that.
right, so here's the real. All jokes aside, I wanted to talk about this because I don't feel like people trust the process, and I don't feel like they truly understand what it takes. I mean, if you are all in and fully invested and fully capable, and you found your sweet spot, and you're doing what you were built and created to do, I think you can excel faster than others. But even that isn't going to be overnight. So I think for most people, there's ordinary people that are trying to achieve some ordinary, maybe perhaps extraordinary shit, and they don't fully appreciate the process. They don't fully appreciate the discipline. They don't fully appreciate the challenges. And I know in this room, we as a collective and individually have some really good stories and some really good shit. And what prompted me to do this was Lindy and I just yesterday talking about her retirement, which is becoming closer and closer and more real. And we got to kind of take a quick stroll down memory lane and talk about and think about and kind of reminisce on the long ass fucking journey to get here. And Zach, you've been down a similar journey, as have I.
Almost the exact same journey.
Yeah, pretty well close. And I think Lindy's story was is a wonderful example of how patience and understanding and respecting and appreciating the process, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like you can make it. It doesn't feel like you want to make it. And you question whether or not it's all worth it. And you have doubts and you are unsure if the process is even going to work. And just sticking with it and being relentless and understanding that 22 years isn't a real long time. I mean, relatively speaking, it goes fucking fast.
Felt like it has.
So
sure.
Understanding, hey, if I want to achieve something major, giving yourself 20 years to do it is a pretty reasonable expectation to set. Like, hey, I want to be rich. Okay, when? 5 years? Well, that's unreasonable. Is it possible? Abso-fucking-lutely. Should you shoot for it? Sure. With the understanding that you're going to do it in approximately 25% of the time as the rest of the population who got rich.
Right.
And, hey, I want to retire. Okay, when? By the time I'm 30. Well, you're 25. That's unreasonable. Hey, I want to make $100,000 a year. By when? By the time I'm 30. You're 25. And you're making $45,000 a year. It's unreasonable. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it reasonable to expect that? I mean, people like me will say yes, it's 100% reasonable. And I don't want to lower expectations, and I don't want to, during this conversation, I don't want it to be mistaken for settling on something you can do.
Shoot for the moon. Don't expect the moon.
And if it doesn't happen, you just have to say, all right, well, I still got 15 years left.
I also think you have to know yourself.
Sure.
Because it's different people are going to achieve things at different rates. Me and you can work at the same thing, at the same pace,
Right.
at the same time, and one of us is probably going to exceed the other. I talk to my kids about this in sports. Like, some kids are just naturally better,
Right.
and you might have to work a little harder to get to that level. But people just have to know themselves and where they fall in that, whatever they're trying to achieve, where they fall in that line.
100% self-awareness. And that's why I kind of led into this by saying, you can do it, and you can do it better and faster than most if you have you're in a position where you are working towards a goal that is in your natural, inherent, God-given talents. If you are working outside of your natural, inherent, God-given talents and you're trying to achieve at a faster rate, you better be ready to put in fucking 10x the work.
Right.
Because me in business is going to be a whole hell of a lot easier than Lindy in business.
Or me. Yeah, for sure.
Or you in business. Now, you in fitness is going to be a whole hell of a lot easier. You found a strength that you have to work less, or it's easier for you to do than it is for me.
Right.
That doesn't mean I can't do it. Okay. Lindy is way stronger than me, even mentally stronger than me. Lindy's a person who literally strapped on her shoes the morning of a 10-mile, the Army 10-miler, which I prepared for 6 months for. The morning of, she said, I guess I'll go do it. And she finished like a minute behind me. And I was like, holy shit, I've been training my ass off for this. Ran the whole way, didn't stop one time, not for one step. You were puking while running. Remember, you were...
I don't remember puking.
You were gagging. You didn't miss a stride. You almost puked, or you kind of somewhat puked. I just remembered that. Didn't miss a stride. Mentally and physically strong people find something in your, whatever your strengths are, but that comes, I think you touched on it, self-awareness. Like, you have to understand what it is that you're good at. And if you find yourself what you feel that you were built to do, you'll know, because it will be easy. If you don't find yourself in that,
but you still enjoy it, you just gotta work harder.
Just know, it's going to be harder. You got to work harder.
I was also going to say, there's these days, nobody has patience. Everybody, we all know this. Everybody is instant gratification.
They want it, and they want it now.
Yep. They want to be rich in 2 years, and they want it now. But
I think also nobody wants to put in the work. And I think a big example of that now is like the college football, like, transfer portal. Like,
sure.
if you're you used to not be able to transfer as easily, right? You'd have to stay on your team, work hard, get the starting spot, wait a couple years, get the start. Now, if you're not starting, you can just jump in the portal, go find some easier path and become a starter,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
In college football?
Yep. Transfer to any school you want if you ain't starting.
You put your name in the portal, and then other schools can come and snag you.
It's generational.
Yeah.
This type of fucking behavior and us feeding into this is going to destroy generations.
I feel like we're right in the middle of it too. We're not the younger generation where they expect everything right there, and we're not the older generation. We're like trying to figure it out. Like, holy shit, we have to stay up with the times.
Yeah.
We still have to keep up with everything, but we're like, God damn it, they are getting everything they want in this. A split second.
I think it might help people who are naturally gifted and who did fall short, and who maybe, if they were if you had 2 A players and there's only 1 A slot, it may help an A player go find another A slot or a vacancy and provide some opportunity. But I think the opportunity that it's going to actually provide for those small amount of individuals, it's going to hurt the individuals that got to those A positions by fucking hard work and grit at, 10 times the rate or whatever.
Look at anybody that has achieved elite level in anything, and you'll find some sort of adversity they had to face to get there. These kids aren't facing adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, 0 chance they're ever going to be elite.
Yeah. Damon John calls it the power of broke. It's the same thing across all levels of all things. If you are faced with adversity, I mean, how many of these young, wealthy people didn't come from money? I mean, these young, successful athletes came from fucking nothing. They worked, hours, grit, time, reps on reps to work their through. Jabba was like
Jabba
Chamberlain. He was like a mediocre baseball player in high school, wasn't it? I think I don't know, but I think the story has it is that dude just workhorsed his way.
But think about, you always hear the Michael Jordan story, how in high school he didn't make the varsity basketball team. I often think about, what if he had?
That's actually not a true story. There's a reason he got held back on purpose. I watched the Air movie. It's not. The way that the context to that is not the true context.
He didn't make the varsity team. He made the JV.
Hold on a second.
But it was on. There's a real story behind it.
Hold on. I want everyone to know that when I didn't make the JV team, the JV coach that cut me told me this story. So I have a vested interest in knowing what the fuck the truth is, because that ended my basketball.
Well, a lot of
career
people
in high
said,
school.
I thought the story was like in the old wives' tale that he got cut. He didn't get cut. He just didn't make the varsity team.
He didn't
I
make
thought
the team.
it was. And he thought he should make the varsity team. But
Ian's going to get us information. Either way, let's get back.
find the real story. Fuck
Well,
it.
Ian finds that. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the patience and the respect of 20 years and the respect of 22 years and how that affects kind of all of us. Zach, in your fitness journey, you certainly didn't start out where running triathlons where you could
Right.
just pick up a day or two with a day or two's notice and go perform whatever you call perform a triathlon,
Yes.
a triathlon, participate, run.
There you go.
Lindy, you didn't go in and be like, I'm going to fast track my way to 22 years. You can't do it. Some things are just time honored. And when it's all said and done, Ian has built a following and a tribe of 60,000+ people who anxiously await his videos and anxiously await his opinions on shit. And, me and my business, we've all kind of done it in different aspects. And I think it's the exact same thing. And what it was small, incremental, daily activities, showing up, putting in the work that ultimately yielded us the same outcome, which is the success in what we're doing.
I just saw a Kobe Bryant TikTok or something of him talking about just getting better every day, right?
Right.
We hear that all the time. But
course.
if you're getting better every day over the course of a year, 5 years, 10 years, imagine where you're going to be at the end of that 10 years. Like if you can honestly look yourself in the mirror at the end of every day and said, I genuinely feel I got better today. Is it going to be a big difference that day? Of course not.
No.
But over the course of 5, 10, 15, 20 years you're talking about,
Right.
imagine where you could be if every day you got better than the last
Dude,
day.
and information and success and money and all of this shit is compounding. So if you get 10% better every year, by year 5, you're working on 10% of 150%. By year 10, you're working on 200%, 10% of 200%.
Right.
It's compounding the percentages of knowledge, information, progression towards whatever it is. If you can operate on small bits of growth that are reasonable and manageable in no time, 5 years, I say it all the time. I said it on the show. If you have any question how long 5 years actually is, take a look at your kids. If you've got kids, it's a pretty good indication. Those of us with 10, 12, 13, 15-year-olds, we look at them and go, holy shit.
Blink of an eye.
You were 2 yesterday.
Right.
And now you were 2 yesterday, and next thing you know, they're going into high school and you're retiring. It's all about the respect for time. And I think this I want it and I want it now generation is going to destroy people's opportunities because you don't get the actual knowledge, the actual experience, the actual life that comes along with the journey. I mean, I've got it in my company. I've got employees who, hey, I want to be a manager, or I want to be a leader, or I want a pay raise. I want to be making X amount of money, and they get this kind of neighboritis situation where someone else is making this. They get jealous. And if they don't get it right there, they jump ship. Well, guess what you just missed out on by jumping ship? You missed out on all the fucking opportunity that you
whole
needed.
journey.
Right. You missed out on all the opportunity for the experience that you needed to get you where you wanted to go. And because there was this mentality of no patience and I need it all and I need it right now, and because there was this, super connected world with, job listings at your fingertips where you can literally see 1,000 jobs in 10 minutes. It makes it so easy. But what we are missing, I mean, if you started your military career today, is there any chance you think you'd make it 20 years?
Not a single chance.
No. What about you?
It'd be very tough.
It'd be very tough.
It'd be very tough.
No.
You're less moldable too. You know what I mean? When you're older, just to get
Yeah,
broken
dude.
down and that would be tough.
Can't
man.
teach an old dog new tricks.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, all that's true, but I'm looking at it from the perspective of just the world has changed. The opportunities 20 years ago when we started our careers, I mean, you had to know somebody, connect with somebody, be willing to move and relocate for these opportunities. And if you got a $50,000
a lot of the opportunities were in the newspaper.
Yeah.
We hardly
Like you had to be in a local newspaper or like it just wasn't the information superhighway has spoiled us, and it's crushing the one thing that we need for the growth that we're trying to achieve, and that is time and experience. And it's a generational thing, and we're a part of it. Like I want it all and I want it now. But when I don't get it, I am lucky enough to where we are, like all of us on the show, we are lucky enough to where we are of a very unique in human history of a very unique class of people who have been able to experience both. We were the last generation, us 40-year-olds.
38-year-olds.
Remember, 25% of this podcast is 40-year-old or Matt.
Anything to say?
I ain't 40.
No,
Well,
that's
that leaves
right.
it down to three people who could be.
Well, you guys are not a part of this lucky generation then, okay? You missed it. And that's why you all suck.
Missed it by 2 years.
No, it's a part, we are a part of this, our age group is a part of this beautiful thing where we experience the world with no cell phones. We experience the world with, getting on our bikes and taking off for the whole day. And when your parents wanted you, they had to drive around the neighborhood to see where all the bikes were.
Call a
And-
landline to your
Right.
friend's
Yeah,
house
and if
track
you
your ass down.
exactly, and if you wanted to hang out with friends, you didn't wait for a text. Like my poor kids, they wait for a text and an invite, and if they don't get it, they didn't get their dopamine hit. They go into a mini depression.
Nah, just show up, dude.
Just
Knock
show
on
the fuck
door.
up. You want to go play football? You show up to the field.
Or you make plans the day before. Hey, we're gonna be back here at 4:00 tomorrow.
And if you show up, no one's there. It's just two of you. You're playing catch. Three of you, you got a little triangle catch. You got four of you, you got a game of 500. Five of you, you got some back 'em ups. Next thing you know, you got 3-on-3. You're playing football. People start to show up. You got a full game. That's the way it was. That is the exact example of patience. Like just show up, stay there. Nowadays, it's if I didn't get a text or if I'm not invited. It's insane. And we are a part of the generation that experienced that whole life, patience, growth, watching NBA players that went through college and went through the grind to this world of everything's instant. Everything's now. Like if you're 30 or younger, fucking listen to the people who are 40 or older.
So in order to not sound like curmudgeon-y, like, back in my day, blah, blah,
What
blah.
in the fuck does curmudgeon-y
Curmudgeon-y.
mean?
Bitter old man? I don't know.
All right. It sounds like a Scrooge
Google
term.
that. What does curmudgeon-y mean? I don't know. Crumudge.
Yeah.
We're not saying not to embrace the new, like the technology and things like that.
No.
'Cause we have to move on with time,
Of course.
obviously. We're saying we need to find a way to balance those two. Still ingrain hard work and dedication and
Time.
patience and discipline
Yeah, man.
with the new wave of technology. You know what I mean?
I think you use every ounce of technology and every single bit of health and resources that are at our fingertips and at our disposal to help grow us and grow yourself as fast as possible. Use every bit of resources that you have at your fingertips, but where people are lacking is they're not understanding that they have the journey is where ask any
That's
rich
where you
person.
grow, man.
That's where the
you
good
learn.
shit is. That's where all the shit that makes you feel good is. It isn't the wealth. Nobody gives a shit about that shit gets old. If you go and sit on a beach, it takes a real bum to be able to go be a millionaire, retire, and do nothing but stand up and walk on the beach every day and go, I'm going to go walk down the beach. I'm going to go sit in my beach chair. I'm going to go drink my mojitos and stare at the ocean. You're going to do that shit for about a month.
That actually sounds glorious. I don't know.
It does for a short period of time. And then what happens? The whole human energy kicks in and we need to accomplish shit.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, you're like, well, I'm bored. I'm either going to go back to work. I'm going to pick up a part-time job. I'm going to go volunteer. What are you doing? You're now putting yourself right back into the process. It's all what it is. What do retired people do? They volunteer. Why? To stay healthy, to stay young, to feed their mind, to serve their needs as humans, to accomplish things, to give. You can do that for pay. You can do that every day. That's the process. Did you get it?
Yeah, I did.
Was it the wrong word?
Nope, it was right on, and it describes you to a T.
Let's hear it.
A crusty, ill-tempered, and usually old man. Curmudgeon. Maybe I said it wrong. Curmudgeon.
Yeah, curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon.
At least we know how to spell it now. Can you, curmudgeon, look it up, people. And apparently that describes me to a T. And will certainly be, if I can remember the word, it will certainly be next episode's intro for Zach.
I'll take it.
You're welcome. It's your own word.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for teaching us something. But anyway, tell us, Ian, you've got a trusting the process or two under your belt. Hard, challenging. At times, did you feel like you weren't going to do it?
I'd say a lot, yes, and I mean daily, even still to this day. A quote that I recently heard and I love, and it's by Kim Kardashian on Drake's new song, and it's "I didn't come this far to come this far." It keeps me motivated, and just what it means is there's never, and Matt, same thing with never's nothing's ever going to be enough.
No.
Like every day I'm trying to be better than I was the day before. Every day I'm trying to make my children's life better. That's actually my main motivation is I want my kids to have what I never had, and I want them every day them to have good memories, and when they look back on their childhood, they're going to say I had the best fucking dad that I could have ever had, and I had the best childhood because he made our life as good as possible with what we had. And there are a lot of times where it's midnight and I'm like, man, it'd be good to go to bed, but I could work on another video, and that's going to grow my channel. That's going to make me more money. And it's the same thing as Gary Vee always, like you, or like what you said on the last podcast in regards to breaking your day into 3 days, 8-hour days, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's always time. It's what time are you willing to give up? Yeah, there's a new Netflix show. Do you want to watch that and waste, 24 hours watching 24 1-hour episodes? Or do you want to put that 24 hours on a side hustle and bring in more money so you can go on an extra vacation? You could buy your kids something new. You can buy your wife a new whatever. Like you're either willing to put in the time and struggle or grind or whatever, or you're not, and you're just going to sit on the couch and not do shit and then bitch about the things that you don't have, but you didn't put in the work.
And you have to expect failure.
Yes.
Like, I was having this conversation with my son. My son has a YouTube channel, makes some music. If you're listening, Young Breck, go look for him.
Young
Follow.
Breck.
Give him a follow.
It's actually pretty
YUNG.
good. Do it.
He is pretty good, but he's going to premiere a video. He's never done that before, and he made a new song, and he wanted to premiere it. And he has there's already a chat open or something for it.
Yep.
Before you even premiere. He's like, well, nobody's in here. They don't care. I'm like, first of all, dude, it's not even the premiere time yet. Second of all, it's okay, dude. Like,
Doesn't
if
matter.
everybody looked, like, how many bands, how many comedians, how many of those type of people went through shows with 5 people at them, It's just part of the process, man. And this is your first one you've ever premiered. If it doesn't get that much, like, that's not a reason to quit. Do you enjoy doing it? Are you having fun?
Dude, we talk
Keep
about it all the
pushing,
time.
man.
We started talking to 0 people.
Right.
Everybody started talking to 0 people. And at some point, you'll get a listener.
You'll find something will hit and take off, and the rest is history.
right.
How many, all
keep
those
going.
fucking Spotify artists and shit like that. It just took one song, like Post Malone. Nobody fucking knew who he was before White Iverson came out.
Even if you have influence, even if you have a bunch of influence, you were already famous, you already had a big following, and you were to, start making music or
Something
start a podcast or whatever. At some point, just because you were able to launch a channel with an instant following, at some point you had nobody. At some point, everybody had nobody listening. Whether it was when they were 16 and they started, whether they were 25 when they started, whether they were 35, whatever it was, at some point they had nobody that believed in them with the exception of maybe like their mom and dad or their brothers or sisters or a couple friends. I was talking on my coaching call last night or yesterday. I started with nothing. I was the only one that believed in me other than like my mom. And evidently, as my mom shared on the show, my grandma. But I always fucking knew. I always knew I was going to be successful. And I could have sat there and said, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be successful. I didn't know how I was going to do it, what I was going to do. I just knew that was what was in my brain. And then once I fucking learned that if you just put in the work, if you just be relentless about it, if when you get knocked down, you get back up, when you feel depressed, when you feel like you're not making any headway, when you feel like you're walking uphill on a never-ending mountain, when you feel like you're swimming against the current, like you are.
Yeah.
You're getting stronger while you're doing it too. If you want to get real strong and you want to be a real strong swimmer, go swim against the current.
Damn right.
Because then you're going to get in a body of water with no current, and it's going to be like a donut and a baseball bat. Put the heavier weight on for your practicing. The journey, put your heavier weight on. And ultimately, it's what strengthens you. That's the journey. And I fear that these kids, not just in collegiate athletes world, but young kids in the young entrepreneurship world. Entrepreneurship is now the cool thing. Yeah, it's super cool. Until you're fucking depressed and you're bankrupt and you're suicidal.
Living out of your car.
And you're living out of your car, right? And you can't pay your bills. And you got to lay people off because you can't pay them. And you got to foreclose on your house. You got it's real cool. It's just like everything else, though. It's rewarding in the end if you're willing to make the sacrifice. And I think we've all done that.
And something real quick, too, that even during the struggle, how much it sucks. Just the phrase I always tell myself, because I'm such a believer in it, is that everything happens for a fucking reason. You were meant to fail that day. Your business was not meant to work out because you're meant for something greater. Like even the shitty stuff, there's a reason why that happened. And if you keep that in your mind during those tough times, I just feel like it's helped give me the edge to move past that tough time. Like, man, this sucks. I hate this right now. But that's out of my control. What I can control is, do I learn from it? Do I grow from it? How do I move on? That's what I control. I can't control the fact that this is happening, but I can control the outcome.
That concept, dude, for a young man or a young woman is very difficult to understand. Mm-hmm. That's a mature outlook on things that even the most mature and seasoned of us have to struggle with. And remind ourselves that, hey, maybe there's a reason for this shit. I'm sure there is. If there isn't, I'm going to find a reason for it. We call it purpose on this show. I'm going to find the purpose in this. I'm going to hunt the good stuff, and I'm going to convert this shitty energy into good energy somehow, some way. And everyone's entitled to a freak out. Everyone's entitled to a funk. Everyone's entitled to get down on themselves, but you have to stop. And you have to pivot. On my 11:11 call today, one of the girls did a quote at the end of the show, or at the end of the meeting, where she said, "In order to shoot an arrow, it has to go backwards first. It's like a catapult. It has to be pressured backwards in order to launch forward."
Oh, I love.
I don't remember what the quote is, but Sierra, I think, was on it. But it's so true. Mm-hmm. I've mentioned it before on this, on that Shark Tank, one of the Shark Tank people. They said, when the time comes, and it will come, when you start to feel so much anxiety that you begin to question whether or not you made the right decision, or whether or not, like, that's it. That's the start of the pressure. Keep going, and you use that energy to catapult you forward to the next level. It's the same thing on breakthroughs in fitness. It's the same thing when you hit year 16 or 12 in your military career. It's the same thing when you plateau on your followers or your subscribers and you can't get past 5,000. And it's the same thing in all aspects. And you have to make the pressure.
Make the pressure, but also just enjoy each moment for what it is,
man.
Because I'll relate this to kids, right? we all have Ian's are a little older now, but we all have younger kids. My house is constantly a mess, man. And people always say, oh, you're going to miss it someday. And that's probably true. There'll be a day they're going to be gone, and I want my kids running around the house.
Lindy
you know?
tells me that shit all the time.
There's probably times as a business owner where you have so much shit going on, you're like, I wish I could just, as a leader in the Army, you're like, fuck, I wish I could just be a private again and not have to worry about all this shit. You know what I mean?
All the time.
So
It's all perspective.
enjoy the moment for what it is. There's goods and bads to every phase of it.
Yep.
And just enjoy the ride, man.
Most importantly, don't bail. Don't jump ship. Like, if you're not getting abused, if you're just facing hard times and you're having like back-to-back hard days or hard weeks or hard months, like, pressure makes diamonds, man. The pressure is good for you. If you're not getting abused and you see potential opportunity in the field you're in, on the team you're on in the company you work for, in the business, whatever it is, if there's opportunity, it may not be your turn yet, but just because it's not your turn yet, it's hard to find. Like, that's the biggest thing, I think, is finding a place where there is opportunity, whether it's immediate or not, and sticking with it. Don't jump ship. I mean, anytime I have someone who does this, and I mean, I've been in business for a long time now. I have people who, all the way from somebody asking, getting a 50 cent, a 25 cent per hour pay raise. And they're like, well, if I do this, it's $1,200 a year plus overtime. And I'm like, you literally just lost an entire opportunity for $1,200 because you're so caught up in that. We call them job hoppers. Eventually, your resume is full of 90-day jobs. And eventually, you can't get hired because you're a job hopper.
Nobody
and
wants
now,
to hire that.
right, eventually, when here's a little secret. One of the biggest thing employers that are growing and scaling look at on a resume is time in your last position. One of the biggest things that employers give a shit about when you went to college is, did you finish college? Because I don't give a shit what your degree is, but if you can go through 4 years of college and finish what you started, it means something to me. It's not necessarily going to translate to a higher pay rate.
So this is off subject, I guess, but would you rather see no college than some college?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. No, because there's too many other variables that I would take into consideration for me.
You'd
to even
still
answer
rather that they took the leap.
I mean, if somebody went into college and was there for, 1 semester and was like, fuck this shit, I'm out, like, mad respect. I went to some college and I quickly went, this is stupid. This is dumb. Not for me. I don't need it. I'm out of here.
So depending on the circumstances.
But if you were in college for 1 year and then you've got this big gap and you had 6 jobs over the last 5 years, now we've got a pattern.
Yeah.
Now, if you went to college for 1 year or 1 semester and then you went to a job and you had a job for 6 years over the last, one job over the last 6 years and you stopped out of college, I'm going to look at that and go, sounds like this person, college wasn't a fit.
Right.
But what we're looking for is trends. And if you're not a cultural fit, or if somebody isn't, if you've got a 3-year job, a 5-year job, a 90-day job, and a 2-year job, do I give a shit about that 90 days?
Probably not.
No, I'm looking at that saying that's a good decision. That person realized quickly, they were decisive, they made the decision and gave it 90 days and said, I'm fucking out of here. No problem. Good for you. Get out of there. The other job history is good, but now I'm looking at that saying, I can expect 2 years out of this person. 2 to 3 years is what their trend is. And if I'm looking to fill a position that I need somebody for 2 to 3 years, if the rest of their resume is tight, that's it. But if I'm looking for somebody for the next 10 years to, operate and grow into position to position in my company, and I know your trend is I've got 2 years, I don't care what you say in the interview. Actions speak louder than
jobs.
I mean, if you do, I'm going to proceed with caution. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions pointed towards that. I'm going to clarify what is it. And I mean, a lot of people are like, man, I'm 40 years old. I've had 3 jobs over the last 10 years. I'm sick of this shit.
Looking for my forever
I'm looking
job.
for a home, man. Like, this is it. I'm looking for something for the next 10 to 15, 20 years. If you've got an opportunity, I'm willing to give it a crack, assuming it's a good cultural fit, assuming, the job is a good fit. I get it, want it, and have the capacity to do it. I'm down to do that. And you could see that over a resume, but these young kids, man, don't understand. They're getting a reputation of being a job hopper. Nobody's going to fucking invest in you. And therefore, you never gain the experience. And the government and the propaganda machine has led everyone to believe that employers give a shit about this college degree.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Unless you want to be a lawyer or a doctor or something in a medical field, nobody gives a shit. It's literally just your ability to start and finish something. 4-year degree and 4 years with a small business means the same thing to me in most cases.
Real quick to add something to when you were talking about opportunity, though, and that is always staying ready. So whether or not you're at a job and it's, there's a next step up position, or you're looking at, 3 positions higher up, is just always staying ready for that opportunity to come, because sooner or later the opportunity will present itself, and if you're not ready for it, then you just drop the fucking ball.
Bro, that's that Colin Kaepernick. That's that Tim Tebow. That's that Chad Henning. You guys like to I know these are like old names because that was a lot of
I was just you can tell.
But yeah, I'm really showing my age on these. Sorry, I haven't watched
Dan
football.
Marino worked really hard.
No, I mean, you're talking about backup quarterbacks who sit there and they're like, man, I get it. I'm just sitting here waiting on my fucking time. Wasn't Brett Favre a backup quarterback?
I mean, we should talk
Aaron
about
Rodgers.
the biggest one, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? Yeah. I mean,
The
dude.
GOAT was a backup.
Dude, wait your turn. And in the meantime, watch the people who are doing it, study them, practice with them, help them, train them, lead them, coach them up, be there for them. And the moment you get that opportunity, and you will get that opportunity, be ready.
And a lot of those people, like sports, for instance, got traded or dismissed, or nobody believed in them initially and then became great. Like Brett Favre played for a different team. Steve Young played for a different team. And then they got their opportunities and took full advantage of it.
This is a concept. What you just described is a concept that I try and preach to my businesses and my teams in my companies. This is a growing organization. Look at our track record. We went from a $400,000 annual revenue company to 1 million, from 1 million to 2 million, from 2 million to 5 million, from 5 million to 10 million, from 10 million to 20 million, and so on and so forth. And every time we do that, we have to increase our resources, be it financial, equipment, and humans. Which means every single year we are opening new opportunities for new growth and new leadership in the human resource world. If you come here and you never make it past year 1, you never even got to
Don't even get to see it.
Right. And when you're talking about, 30, 25 to 40% growth, you can't really see it. But if you stay with this company for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years worth of growth, you're going to be having those conversations where you're like, shit, man, I just wish
Dude, the people that have been with you since the beginning,
Oh, it's mind
they
blowing
can
to
preach
them.
it.
Right. They can preach it.
Well, and that too, if you get you acquire a new business and you have a big spot that needs to be filled, would you rather hire someone that you don't know, or would you
No.
rather
Dude.
give someone that shot that's been with you for 4 years, that's given you 4 years worth of a track record of they're ready?
Dude, Brooke is my general manager. She's my integrator. She's my COO. She is my right-hand man, if you will.
Work wife.
My work wife, if you will.
One of my best friends.
Yeah. I mean, Brooke literally is, I've got many. She's just one. And I can go on. But my company is the exact company for the backup quarterback opportunity. That's what I try to explain to people is, Brooke was a marketing rep, moved into the marketing management position. Next thing you know, we fell short. We had to get rid of some key people. We needed voids to be filled. Brooke, without question, volunteered, jump up. Hey, I could do that. Boom, she moves into production. Boom, she moves into finance. Next thing you know, she positioned herself to where anything that I needed, she knew more than me in the company, and bam. Now I'm going, well, it's time to grow. Who's going to take this position? There was fucking one of one candidate. She left me no other choice but to put her in that position. I've got a lot of people in my company who do that. I also have a lot of people who have been with me for 7 months and who are demanding a pay raise and think that they're entitled because they have a college degree but don't know shit from applesauce as far as the business they're in. It's a false sense of entitlement, number one. But most importantly, I think it's just, this is the culture we're in. This is the generation we're in. They want it. They want it now. It's a fast-paced world. And ultimately, if you don't respect the time, and if you don't respect the patience, and if you don't respect the journey and appreciate the journey, you're going to fall short on what could have been. And you're going to be job hopping your way all the way to being 40, being 45, being 50, still going job to job with no career, saying, man, I'm tired of this shit. Like, it's almost over now.
Well, you said it right there. There's a difference between a job and a career. When you're job hopping, you're hopping jobs. You're not in a career.
J.O.B.,
and that's
man,
what,
just over broke.
Yeah, right. And that's, that's why I started that whole thing with saying, assuming you are in a position and on a team, in an organization, whatever it is, whatever field it is, that has opportunity. There's a lot of them that don't. But that's what you have to recognize. And those are where the 90-day people are. But if you're not interviewing your employer when you're looking for a job, if you're not researching that company, if you're not looking at them saying, hey, when they in an interview inevitably say, do you have any questions for me? Actually, yes. Pull out your notebook. I've got 15 questions for you. These are the top 3 in effort to save your time.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
What is the company, something
You're
high
gonna
level?
blow that interviewer's mind if you do that too, by the way.
Open-ended fact-finding. Hey, I'm looking for something with a lot of opportunities and career advancements. What is the company's growth plan over the course of the next 5 to 10 years? First of all, that employer is going to go, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Applicant, who's interviewing who here? And I don't want to tell you my business plan. And then you explain to them, well, I'm looking because I'm looking for a career, not a job. This is something I want to do. Now you're earning the respect. You're saying all the things they want to know, they want to hear. And you're saying, so for a position like me at entry level here, what would be a reasonable expectation for a career path of growth for me? And what's the timeline on that? And a good employer, a good interviewer is going to say, well, I'm glad you asked. And from this position, I've got people that have done this, and this. These are the opportunities, and sky's the limit. Or they're going to sit there and go, well, we don't really know because we're just trying to get this position filled right now, and then later on we're gonna figure that out. Leave. If that person doesn't know that vision and that mission of that company, that is a company that does not have the opportunity that you want to be in. It's very important, but if you're a part of those companies, and I could proudly say every one of mine and anything I do has got opportunity because I'm not interested in if it doesn't have opportunity. Mm-hmm. So it's a personal vested interest of mine to create this opportunity. But using these organizations to help you establish yourself and learn and grow takes time, takes commitment, and I think all of us here at this table can attest that when it's all said and done, 20 years goes fast, and it's usually worth it if you put in the time, you stay committed. So, anyway, appreciate you all listening. Anything else? You guys want to wrap this thing? Hey,
good to go.
Thank you all for listening. As always, please like and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Download our shit on audio. Share it with your friends. We certainly appreciate it. Today was a little lighter episode at Lindy and Ian's request. Zach is usually down to piss some people off with me.
Absolutely.
Love you, buddy.
Just to add context, I didn't request it, but Matt knows it's a forever request.
It's a mental
for every
Yin and a
episode.
yang.
Yeah, it makes his editing, his post-production stuff much easier when he doesn't have to cut out all of the...
I think we got some guests getting on the docket, though, too. We need another guest.
Yeah, we got some guests coming up. So stay tuned. Please like, share, subscribe. And as always, people, make sure you find your purpose, serve your purpose, and protect your purpose. People love you. Peace.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.